In this lesson, I'm going to teach you an extremely easy 3-step process that I created to learn the most coveted voicing in jazz piano, the drop 2 voicing. Now, when I first started learning jazz piano, I struggled a lot to learn this, and I truly believe it's because of the education methods out there that are trying to teach you a drop 2 voicing in a weird and improper way. With the system you're going to learn in this video, I'm actually going to do all the work for you up front, and then you're going to take away things, and it's going to make it so much easier for you to integrate the drop 2 voicing into your playing. It's also going to set you up for more advanced, bigger spreads with extensions, comping methods, and so much more. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all the free education we have available. And if you're wanting to take some next steps and dive deeper, there is a membership available. With that being said, let's dive right in.
All right, so I'm going to show you what these are, demonstrate, and then I'll explain them, okay? So very first step, what you're going to do, take your rootless voicings. You got to know your rootless voicings, okay? I'm going to show you how you can do this easier in just a little bit. But for now, I'm going to use my rootless voicings. This is why rootless voicings are so important. It's because they are the gateway voicing to a lot of pro top echelon voicings, all right? So here's my rootless voicing in my right hand. What I'm going to do, a drop 2 simply means if we count down from the top. So if you're looking at the notation right there in the top right corner of this video, you're going to see E, C, A, F. E is on the very top. So we call the top voice number 1 because it's on top. Now, the second voice from the top would be what voice? This C right here. You see how it's going in and out on the notation and the piano? A drop 2 simply means we're moving the second voice from the top of our voicing. Here's the top. Here's the second voice. We're going to move it down to our left hand. We're going to drop it down below the voicing. So instead of this, we now have this. You hear the difference there? This as opposed to this. It creates a gorgeous, lush, beautiful, light, airy, Bill Evans-y sound that can be used in big band orchestrations, piano, and in all sorts of things. Now, this voicing, what I just played for you, is all drop 2s essentially. That's it. I mean, that's the cream of the crop of pro jazz piano voicings. There's a lot more that goes into this, but that's it. Take your rootless voicing, drop the second voice from the top to your left hand, and you've created a drop 2 voicing. Now, a lot of instructors, educators will stop there, although they'll kind of give you that information, but I always love to put it in a systematic format. Right? I love to integrate it into our practice, talk about the steps that you can go through. So, first off, we're going to be creating a drop 2 with our rootless voicing. So if we take our rootless voicing here, we create a 2-5-1. Check it out. Here's my 2-5-1, and this is going to be in the key of C. So D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a drop 2 through with each one of those voicings. So here's my first one. I drop the C down. Here's my second voicing, my rootless G7 voicing. I'm going to drop the B down to my left hand. Right? I just created a drop 2 again. You see that? Okay, so here's the B. I'm moving it down to my left hand. And then here's the C major 7. I know it says E minor 7. I don't have a bass note in there. I'm going to take this B and move it down to my left hand. Now, it's very hard to remember, okay, what note am I dropping again? How do I do this, right? Check it out. Once you get your system down, meaning once you have the first chord there, all you're going to do is keep your notes the same in your right hand to progress through a 2-5-1. Keep these the same. Move your left hand down by a half step. That goes to the G7 chord. Okay, don't pay attention to the notation that MIDI software is giving you. This is a G7 drop 2, rootless voicing. So we have 3, 7, 9, 13. So we have 2 shells on the bottom and 2 extensions on top. And then after that, what I'm going to do is keep my left hand the same, move everything else. You see that? Now I'm creating a C major 7 drop 2. Now, what's the easiest step to get there? Okay, there's an easier step, and I I don't really like the way this is taught a lot of times. A lot of times this is taught like this, is split between two hands. So people call these 4-note voicings sometimes. I don't particularly like this because it's going to handcuff your fingers and box them into this position where you don't have much flexibility to do other things. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So a lot of books, a lot of educators will teach like this. I hate that. I tried it. It didn't work as well as what I'm about to show you. It never did. And I'm trying to spread the word on this new method. So my method, take a rootless voicing. Okay, the first thing what you're going to do is practice to learn how to easily and quickly implement these drop twos into your playing. Play 1 and 7 with your left hand of the chord that you're playing. This is going to help in a new number of different ways. It's going to help you remember the chord that you're playing. It's going to help you remember the drop 2 note that you're going to be doing as well, which is the 7th, right? It's also going to lead to more advanced voicings, which I'm going to show you in just a second as well. So it holds multiple opportunities and benefits to practice this way instead of doing the 4-note voicing method where it's 2 notes split between 2 hands. All right? So here we go. We're going to do 1 and 7 rootless voicing. Now, as we move through our 2-5-1, I'm going to move the 7 to here, and I'm going to take my root and move it to the root of the new chord. So in this case, a G7. So 1 and 7 in our left hand, rootless voicing in our right hand. 1 and 3 in our left hand, rootless voicing in my right hand. 1 and 7 in rootless voicing in my right hand. This should be what you should practice. Practice through your 2-5-1s first, going through the keys. You should be able to do this very easily in all keys, right? Key of E flat. Okay, key of G flat. Now, the best part about this is once you've practiced this and studied it, in order to get a higher quality pro sound, which I showed you to start off with, we're actually going to be removing things and not adding things. And when we do that, when you follow my system, we've already practiced, we've already done all the work we need to. Now we actually remove things and it gets better, which is much easier than trying to add things in and find the notes. Now we just need to remove them and it's going to completely transform your sound on the spot. Check it out. What I'm going to do now, since I'm going to create a drop 2, I don't need both these C's here. I don't need the 7. So I'm going to remove my 3rd finger from the equation. This is actually creating a drop 2. So I'm creating a drop 2 right now just by removing the 2nd voice from the top. I'm creating a drop 2 right here. Now I'm going to keep that 3rd finger removed the entire time and still go through the same exact sequence I just showed you. Right? All I've done now to create a better sounding voicing, I don't want to say better, but different, a lot of, what students want, what I wanted, that drop 2 sound. I'm just leaving my 3rd finger up. I'm not using my 3rd finger, and it's creating a gorgeous sound. Now, it's a little thin. It's a little high to use my roots here. So if I were to use my drop 2s in this register, I'm not going to be playing my roots, but I want to show you something real cool. If we move down, 99% of the comping I do is going to be down in this mid to low end register, and I use this exact voicing, which I said in another podcast a couple weeks ago, actually. So if I do this, here's my 1 and 7 rootless voicing, B flat 7. This is a new 2-5-1, the key of E flat major. Okay, what I'm going to do here is create my drop 2 by releasing my 3rd finger now, just removing it. And it's going to create this gorgeous, thick, lush comping sound that I can use down here. And if I go to a key of G, I can create all these gorgeous sounds from this same exact system. And all I'm doing is taking my rootless voicings in my right hand, 1 and 7 here, 1 and 3 rootless voicing here, and I'm just removing my 3rd finger. I'm just removing the 3rd finger in my right hand, which happens to be the 2nd voice from the top. That's why it's called a drop 2 voicing. A minor 7, 3rd finger's up. D7, A flat minor 7, D flat 7, G minor 7, C7, F sharp 7, or G flat minor 7, whatever you want to call it. right? Just by removing the third finger, that one simple step, you're creating gorgeous drop two voicings that I use all the time, that every pro jazz pianist uses. Every pro jazz giant you hear on albums is going to use these voicings. Now, to go a step further, again, we're not going to add anything. We're going to take away something as well. These voicings down here are perfect. These drop two voicings are perfect with the root. I use these a lot to comp because they're below the melody. They're going to give a nice, thick, lush sound here. Get that root in there. Right? I'm doing some other fancy things too. Don't worry about that right now. A lot of times people will say, oh, don't play the root. Right? They tell pianists, don't play the root. The root is really a great note. You should play the root. Okay? Don't play the root up here because that's going to sound a little too thin. In some situations, play the root down here in this low end register below this middle C, I would say. Like, listen to how thick that is. It's such a gorgeous sound. I use that voicing all the time. Now, like I said, if we're playing in the key of D, for example, this is a little too high for this bass note here. So I'm going to go one step further. I've removed my third finger. I'm going to remove the bass note now. So now we're creating true drop two voicings. When I say true, I mean there's no root there. So there's no root in the equation, and I'm going to go through my 2-5-1 without the root. So I've actually just removed my pinky. Now you can ghost it if you need help, right, to get your anchor. So here's my E. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to play I can ghost my A right there, and then ghost my D. I just mean like hover the finger over that note if you're used to playing it that way, right? Key of B flat. Right, key of D flat. Right? Now check it out. When I comp in this area over here, it's usually with a trio or for fills. Okay, and then when I comp down here, it's to get a different type of texture. If I'm playing with a group, it may be because the melody's on top or something like that. But anyway, this is going to be how you can easily create drop twos. You can create drop twos out of any voicing really, but the voicing that most students want, that you probably want, the reason you clicked on this video was this. Now the direction you go from here to make this even better is to change up the extensions and add some different types of extensions and some movements. So from here, my D minor 7, I might go to a flat 9, flat 13, and then maybe 9 on top with some inner voicing movement. I don't want to get into all that. I'll leave you wanting a little bit more. But again, you can take a root position chord, create a drop 2 voicing out of that. I'd encourage you to practice your root position voicings, up the inversions, right? So these are all drop 2s of just a D minor 7 root position chord. Here's my D minor 7, first inversion, second, third, and root again. So what I'm doing is taking the second voice from the top, putting it in my left hand. Do I use these voicings? Yes. I might come down them like this. Okay, and the great thing about your drop 2s is as you start to learn more about them, again, you can get into what people call the Barry Harris method with a lot of passing movements with your drop 2s, right? Here. Doing things like this. This is what it all leads to. But again, the easiest way to start, just to recap what I've told you here, take your rootless voicings in your right hand. Place 1 and 7 with them. Practice these ad nauseum, right? And then once you've got them, take your third finger out, create your drop 2, go around again. Then once you got those, take the bass note out. See if you can do it alone, just like this. Okay, don't just practice 2-5-1s to isolate your chord. So maybe take a minor 7, do all your minor 7s. So take your all your minor 7th rootless voicings here. Let's start on C minor 7. Here's our C minor 7. right? So I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do all my minor sevens. Maybe I go around the circle of fourths. Maybe I do half steps. Maybe I do whole steps, right? So C minor 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, right? You can practice however you want, but isolate the change too, because you're not always going to see 2 5 1s. You don't always see 2 5 1s. You might see a C minor 7 going to an F minor 7, right? So you want to be able to create drop 2s out of that, doing this or voice leading. Maybe you do this, F minor 7, C minor 7 to F minor 7 here. I voice lead it to the second structure of my F minor 7. Excuse me. All right. So it can go pretty deep. It does take a lot of work. But this is going to be the simple process that's going to allow you to get these under your fingers so much faster by using this system instead of starting out with your 4-note system, right, with 2 notes in each hand. Now, by the way, when I do this, again, like I said, this creates a lot of opportunities for me to play different types of large spread voicing drop 2s, which this 4-note system will never do for you, okay? So again, start with this, remove your third finger, remove the bass note, and you'll have 3 sets of different types of voicings you can use that I use all the time, and you'll be sounding exactly like a pro when you start to integrate these into your playing, because there's nothing better, honestly. It doesn't get better than this, using some extensions and then some inner voicing maybe. Right? That's the cream of the crop right there. That's the best you're going to get. Practice hard. Work on it. I'll talk to you later. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of our free, amazing education, all of the free podcast blogs. We do have a membership if you're looking to take a next step forward with us. Get access to over 1,000 different jazz piano videos, playbooks, mini courses, a main course curriculum, success path, and so much more. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@jazzpianoschool.com. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, happy practicing.